Good morning for me. Oh, no, good afternoon. Sorry. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Hi, Anna. Welcome. It's lovely to have you in again on our meaningful conversations with Karen and Anna. I am Karen Clark, and this is my beautiful guest, Anna Knockley. And I hope I've said that correctly, Anna. And I'm sure you have a Vietnamese first. You're Vietnamese, aren't you?
I'm Vietnamese, yeah.
Yeah.
Vietnamese. I call
I'm
it Vietnamese Australian.
What do you call it? Yeah, yeah.
Vietnamese Australian.
I'm sure you have a natural Vietnamese name, which is different to Anna. Do you want to share
Yeah,
it?
yeah. And my natural Vietnamese name is Ngọc,
Oh,
Ngoc.
it's not. Oh,
Yeah,
okay. So that's
yeah.
great. Okay. So welcome, Anna. Welcome, everybody. We've got an amazing topic this morning, and this afternoon, I keep thinking it's morning for some reason. And before we came live, we were just talking about that. So, Anna, do you want to start? Would you like to start with sharing what we were just talking about before we went live?
Oh, we were talking about my mentor is coming to Australia for a few days to visit us and to give his mindset and then to support like a young team in Australia. So I feel so a deep appreciation for how he served us over the years, and he paid his own pocket flying in from Australia from America just to be here with us for a few days because of the time limit. And we haven't paid him anything, like there's people out there that is like yourself, wanting to give, but want to create values in life by adding into other people's life. And like I said, I can understand the motive in that, because I would be, like I said, I would be really happy to see, to dedicate my life to nurture my daughter and bring her up, adding value into her life, and so she can grow up, become an, valuable members of the society. And thinking about her, I'm thinking about all the other children as well, my friend children, and looking at the children, you see hope, you see the future. And I would like to add value to as many children as possible, but the best way is adding it through adding value to their parents' life, because the parents, each parent is responsible for their own children. That would be easier than me myself taking care of over 100 children, which, my day is limited, my time is limited. So I love how my mentor does that to us, and I would love to do that to other people as well, adding life into the parents' life, and then the parents will add life to their children's life, and that will go on. So that was what we basically talked about, and that was what I admired about you, during our conversation and in preparation for this conversation. I get to know you, I learn about you, and I can see your soul, I can feel you, I can, I learn about your mindset and the way that you operate in terms of adding values without expecting anything in return. But we act in according to the law of nature, the law of the mind and the subconscious mind. Anyway, whatever you plant, you will harvest. Like, you plant the seed of nurturing, of loving, of caring, then you cannot, of course, you expect to yield. That's, you have it, what you planted. And nurturing, not just plant it and throw it out there, it will grow like weed. But anything valuable need care and love, and a process of nurturing it. So with that, I would like to hear from you, Karen. I know you have a lot to share about subconscious mind and how the mind works, and that is your expertise in helping people to overcome their own self-doubt, limiting belief, in order to achieve great things in life. So yeah, thank you
Yes.
for allowing me to share what we just talked about earlier. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Anna. And I thought it was a really great segue into what we're talking about today, because when you talk about helping other children, helping our own children, and helping other children, and helping them through perhaps educating or sharing with their parents some of these things that we're going to talk about today, because it opens our minds and it increases our level of awareness when we realize what actually is controlled by our subconscious mind. And, the question I would sort of put forward now is, have you ever thought about why do some of us seek more and want to keep learning and others stay in their comfort zone? Because the prime directives of the unconscious mind, one of the prime directives is always to be seeking more, always to be growing. But as with everything else, many of us have a belief to prefer to feel safe in our own beliefs, or what you could call your security blanket, or to stay in the familiar or the status quo that you have heard is the way things are done. And so it can lead to mediocrity or achieving results that are much, much less than we're capable of. And excuse me, to pull, the familiar, to live in the familiar than to seek more despite, our feelings of perhaps wanting more. So I just wanted to share with you that through our beliefs and previous decisions we've made and strategies that we have adopted, because we adopt strategies for everything we do. We all have a strategy, even though you might not think about it. We all have a strategy for getting out of bed and being at work or in our business or somewhere on time in the morning. It's a strategy. And so we actually have adopted or created strategies for everything, most things in our life. And we make assumptions about how our lives and abilities and other people behave or how it is. And we have made assumptions that if one condition exists in our lives, then another situation or goal or circumstance isn't possible. And we strongly believe this to be the case. So, for example, we may have a belief around if something is occurring in our lives, then we can or cannot achieve a certain goal we would like to achieve. Or we may believe that there is only one set of procedures or steps that are required in order to get to a certain outcome. And these can be time effects, or often in the case, an effect is a way of thinking. However, with this way of thinking, I want to differentiate that we have two types of thinking. We have our conscious mind thinking that we're all aware of, and then we have our subconscious mind thinking, and that is the thinking that we are not aware of. However, it affects us more than our equally as our conscious mind. So I wanted to run through a few of the prime directives of the unconscious mind, which is there, and its purpose, and how, when you understand that, they affect us. So the subconscious mind stores memories, both atemporally and temporally. It makes associations, and it's easier to remember something once you link it to something you already know. It learns quickly, very, very quickly, and it organizes all of your memories. It represses memories with unresolved learnings, stores them until it considers it's fit to bring them back, which is why we pop things away when we've had a significant emotional event. We repress them, we push them away. And then one day they come up because your subconscious mind has decided that it considers it's fit to bring them back. And it will take those repressed memories when it thinks, like I say, it's a good time to bring them back, and puts them back in your face. So some people say, don't make me feel that way over and over again, until they have trained the subconscious mind in some cases. Your subconscious mind also has a blueprint for your perfect health, very deep in the subconscious mind or higher self. It preserves the body and maintains the integrity of the body and the health of the body, and it will do anything it can to do so. So your subconscious mind I keep going to say unconscious because that's in my training what we call it. It will do anything it can to do so, and sometimes it can make a mistake, or we have trained it not to. It is the domain of our emotions. It is a highly moral being. The morality that you have been taught and accepted comes from your subconscious mind. It enjoys serving and it needs clear orders to follow. Hey, did you hear that? Your subconscious mind needs clear orders to follow. Every thought you think constitutes a message to the subconscious mind. So, how many of you have heard yourself or other people say things like, I'm stupid, or I'm an idiot? Well, you're sending a message to your subconscious mind when you do things like that. Even if it's something that you've an accident that you've had and you think that was bad and you say to yourself, what a stupid idiot I am, you are telling yourself that's what you are, and your subconscious mind will believe you. Your subconscious mind maintains all perceptions, and it can be asked to improve our hearing and our eyesight through hypnotherapy or something similar. Your subconscious mind generates, stores, and transmits energy, and it can be asked to create energy. It maintains instincts and habits. It needs repetition until habits are installed. If you retrain it to focus on what you want and know specifically to shift focus and dwell on what you want, your unconscious mind, your subconscious mind can do it. Anytime you have a negative thought, you can refocus on the positive thought, but you may have to do it times 3. So one negative thought, you can retrain your mind, your subconscious mind, if you refocus on the positive thought times 3. Your subconscious mind seeks more and more. It wants more for you, and it functions as a whole integrated unit. It doesn't need parts. It doesn't need parts. It's symbolic. It recognizes symbols. So you can use symbols to express yourself to your unconscious mind. It uses its own symbols to communicate with us. So dream analysis should only be done by yourself. If a client, if you ask someone else, what does that dream mean? They can't tell you the reality of what your own dream means to you. So don't bother asking people, because it's only your own dream that is a message to yourself. It takes everything personally. Like I said, if you say that person is no good or you're not any good, the subconscious mind will think you're talking about yourself. It works on the principle of the least effort, the easiest route. And your subconscious mind does not process negatives. So if you say, I don't want something, it will hear it as I want it. And that is why there are so many misunderstandings around our achievements, our goals, what we want in life, because we tend to focus on, I don't want this. I don't want to be poor. I don't want any more debt. And your subconscious mind's here, I want more debt. So you have to learn to put positive.
You're just giving so much information. Whoever listens back to this can see, if we haven't dig into this area of our the most important tool that a human being has is this one, the CBCU, like a machine, everything works from our mind, which is inside our head, and it's operating the whole our whole life. And if people are not aware of what's going on, then they will be running their life on autopilot without knowing where we're heading. You can run off the autopilot, but only if you know where you're heading. That's different. But saying that, I'll say it's so valuable. I jot out so many wonderful points, like it's store memory. So whatever we want, we can retrieve it. We know how to
Yeah.
retrieve it. And usually we use meditation or, mindfulness, sitting down, sitting in front of, like people often say, I don't remember something. I couldn't find my key. And then I go for a run. And then all of a sudden it popped. I remember exactly where I put it down because it's store memory, and it needs that calmness of the mind to actually like see. Just like when the pool is so quiet, peaceful, then you can see all the way to the bottom of the water. But if it's just waving, it's just like if you see a pool that have so much wave or so turmoil, then you can't really see. You see bubbles, you see so many things going on, and it is impossible to see what's happening. So that's one thing that you said that I really, really love. And then suppression, repression as well. Like our mind will hide the pain, and to keep us going, to keep us operating, and the pain is still opening underneath the surface. And I really love that one. People know how it operates, and then they can find a way to let it come up, and then only if you see the demon, then you know what to do with the demon. If you don't see it, it hiding in the corner doing whatever, doing harm to us without us knowing. And that I really love that point. That is just weird. The subconscious mind doing that. It hiding the pain from you until it's too big that it cannot hide anymore. And so it will reveal to you. With or without you wanting to see it or not, it's revealed to you, right? So I really love that point, and I totally resonate with you. There's certain pain that is just like it started with it's really small, and then if you ignore it, it gets bigger, 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 bigger until you can't ignore it anymore. Then you've got to do something about it. And like
on that point, Hannah, on that point, I just want to clarify that it will repress memories, or it will repress a situation that occurred to you that you couldn't handle. And then when it brings it back to you, it thinks you're ready to handle it now. Okay? So you can have something that happened in the past, a significant emotional event, and your subconscious mind has repressed it, and then one day it can just come back up to the surface for you to deal with, because your subconscious mind has decided you're ready for it now. And so often the most difficult part of us to deal with is our subconscious mind and our emotions and memories. And that's why timeline therapy is a very powerful way that we work with people with the learnings and the emotions of the subconscious mind to keep the learnings, because everything that is sent to us, everything that we receive in our lives is there for learnings, is there to teach us what we need to know. And I don't like using that word need. I very seldom use it, but in this case I think it's appropriate. It's like to grow and advance. We have everything sent to us. Why do we get things more than once? Why do we get the similar kind of situation or pain that comes to us more than once? Because we haven't learnt yet from it.
So true.
And so we'll get the little message, and then if we don't learn, we'll get a bigger one. And then if we don't learn, we'll get something more. And then if we're still needing to learn that lesson, we'll get, and we haven't learned it, we'll get the big Mack truck running us over. And that could be a health issue. It could be the loss of someone. It'll be a significant emotional event. And everything that comes to us is for us to learn. But what we tend to do is hang on to the emotions and not the learnings. And so with things like therapy, timeline therapy, some hypnotherapy, we can actually help people to let go of the emotion so we don't feel that negative emotion, but keep the learnings, the lessons that we've been sent those situations to learn from. It's very powerful.
However, then totally agree with you that everything presented to us as an opportunity, if you look at it as that. But because when we hit the pain, the first reaction is to avoid. Or if we feel the fear, the first reaction is to run away from it, to do anything to suppress that feeling, right? So a friend of mine say, but you can learn to be free from it. You can be free from your mind, free from limiting belief. And I would say, how can you be free from your mind? Because your mind is in your head. Your head is on your neck. How are you going to be free from it? Are you chopping your head off or something? You can't. We cannot be free from it. I think for me, I believe that we can be aware of it and choose. And we have the power of choice. Choose the one that we want and nurture it, make it bigger. It may be just a seed. So we can nurture it to make it grow, shoot up, become a tree, and then become yielding, creating fruit of our nurturing. And then when we nurture what we want, we don't have time to take care of what we don't want anymore. However, in life, we usually try to avoid what we don't want, which means we give too much power, too much energy and focus into eliminate what we don't want. Yeah. So two approach works. Both of them works. You can pull the weed out of the garden. We keep pulling it out. It works. However, it's much more fun and easier in my way to focus on planting the flowers, planting the fruit, rather than, and then when the garden is full of fruitful plants, then there's no room left for the weed to grow anyways. Like once I share with you, I'd rather switch the light on to make the room brighter than to try to take all the darkness out if the room is full of darkness. So our subconscious might have both, because we live in the dual reality. So if there's good, there will be bad existing at the same time, and it coexist inside of us. Every single one, we have them both, and it sits on top of our neck. We cannot avoid it. We can't chop it off. We can't run away from it. But we have to. For me, I've just learned to observe and pick and choose. And if I'm weak, I associate with people who can show me which one is good. Like I hang out with you. I hang out with people who show me what is good. I spend time and focus on that. And I don't try to eliminate the bad in my life, because I learn to embrace it, loving it, learn lesson from it, like you just said, instead, because I can't chop my head off, right? So the head always carry, in any moment, I was like you said, I'm stupid. If I open that file, I'm stupid. It's a massive file. I'm collecting since I was born, since I started talking. I had a collection of I am stupid, because if I break a glass, I straight away say, "Oh, it's idiot." I fall off the chair and I say, "Oh, idiot! How stupid am I?" My folder, that stupid folder, is so big, so it's hard to avoid it. It's there, so in any moment it's pop up. So do I have the awareness to say, "No, that's not right. That's not true. I've done a lot of things that is proven that I'm resilient, that I can handle situation. I've done a lot of things that is a proof that I can still survive. I'm still here. I am still now. I'm still alive. That's a proof that I'm resilient enough and strong enough." Yeah. So thank you so much. I really love this topic.
Yes, thank you. And I love the way that you've compared dark and light, and the garden. And it's so true, because like I mentioned with the prime directives, you replace one negative with 3 positives. So that's exactly what you're saying with the garden. Fill it up with beautiful plants and flowers, and there won't be any room for the weeds. And it's exactly like that. Our thoughts are like thought seeds, and what we nourish will grow. So if we nourish the negative, we nourish the weeds and don't plant the plants so that they actually take up all the room, the weeds will grow, the negative will grow. And
That's
so
right.
we're about to finish. Yeah, so I just want to remind you before we finish, Anna, of some of the ways or some of the things that we can do with our subconscious mind to make sure that we are nourishing the flowers and the plants and the things that are good in life and the things that we want, because that's the key, because we're working with our subconscious mind all the time, but we don't know it. So one of the first things is to be careful what you let into your subconscious mind. Be a gatekeeper at the border of your mind. And so be careful what you are doing, because what happens is when we're sitting watching television, for example, and the news comes on, we are already in a partial trance. The television has a way of making us go into a partial trance. Now, partial trance is hypnotherapy. Okay, when you hypnotize someone, they are in a type of a trance, a mild one or a deep one. It depends on the level we take them into. And so when we're watching television, we do end up going into a type of a trance, which means that your subconscious mind is open to listening to what you're hearing. So if you get onto the negative news, your subconscious mind is going to hear and think all the negative news is it's reality. You believe what you tell it. So the first thing is be really careful what you listen to, who you listen to, who you let talk to you, and be careful whether you associate with, as Anna said, the people who are going to serve your way of life, your vision of how you want things to be moving forward, because you may have to cut away some things. David, when he was creating, Michelangelo, when he was creating the sculpture of David, cut away everything that wasn't David to create David, right? So we've got what we want in life. We've got our vision. David was Michelangelo's vision, right? We've got our vision for what we want, and we may have to cut away some things to achieve it, which might be cutting away from some people we know, some friends, from some connections who speak a lot of negative things. Right?
Unless you are strong enough to influence them in a positive way. If we have to guard ourselves like a tree. I look at it as when I was a little shoot, I got to guard myself. But when I'm a big ancient tree, then people can come and sit under my tree. So depends on situation.
True, Anna, but you can't influence people who don't want to be influenced. So it depends on that. That's a great point. However, it depends, on the whole situation. So the other thing I just wanted to add to you for helping with your subconscious mind, one way is to really decide where you're going, what your outcome is, what you want in detail. And I bring it up every time, I think, Anna, because you say to me, you're so consistent. You must have a clear, detailed picture, vision in a picture format, and then put it into writing of where you're going in life, what you want in life. Doesn't matter if you don't know how, but you have to know what you would love in every domain of your life. And then you focus on it. Everything is created twice. It's first created in thought, and we now know this to be in the land of ideas and possibility, which is the quantum realm. Quantum's a new word, but it's not a new thing. Quantum has been around forever. We just know it now as quantum physics. So our thoughts are in the land of possibilities and ideas, which is the quantum realm. So everything starts there, and then if we want to bring it to this physical world in form, it will, if we do certain things. Otherwise, it just stays in the quantum realm. Everything is created first, and it exists once we think it up in the quantum realm. So all of your dreams, ideas, and goals, as soon as you think them up, they are in existence in the quantum realm. You could bring them into this physical life, or not, depending on what you do. And so you want to have a burning desire, a love affair with that vision of what you want. It has to be something you really, 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 really are in love with. Otherwise, there isn't enough momentum and energy for you to push through the negative that comes up. It's like a jet has to go through the what's the barrier called when it exits the earth? I forget what it's called now. I've just gone blank. But you know, it has to push through. It's like gravity pulls us back. We have to overcome it. To overcome it, we've got to have a very strong desire to get there.
Stratospheric?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're so true. Yeah. It's just like the aeroplane. I post that one, you know, you can't take off without certain speed. Yeah. You can't take off at 10 or 5 or 10 kilometers per hour. Yeah. So you've got to have a strong will and then speed up. Yeah. And as well,
it follows, an airplane follows the laws of aerodynamics, right? We follow the laws, the universal laws. Only most of us don't even know about them. Like you said, Anna, the natural laws, the universal laws. Those are what work on us.
Sometimes we don't connect them, you know, like life is something intangible. Value of life is intangible. When, you know, growing tree is so tangible, so you can see, but you can't relate that to laws, to the intangible. So that's why we need to learn. Someone going ahead and they perceive that and then put it into word as a perception or insight, and then we that's why we're learning. And that's why what you shared earlier was just so valuable. All those knowledge that can be, maybe you have to read about 100 books to bring together that concise few minutes of all of these understanding around the subconscious mind and how we can observe and choose what serves us. And it's just like the other day, I watched a little bit of Olympic with my daughter. And if I can say something about it is, you know, the young boys and girls jumping off from a cliff of 10 meter height into the pool in a perfect twist, you know, they tumble around and they go in beautifully. And I was standing there watching them and say, can I do that? No way. No way. I'm not going to go anywhere near that platform, let alone jumping in. But then straight away, I know if I want to, I can start from, you know, a little bit higher each time. I'm sure I can train like that, bit by bit, with repetition, and build my belief slowly. And I'm sure those boys and girls, they did the same. They started 4 or 5 years ago, and they started from, you know, 0.5 meter, and then 1 meter, and then 2 meter, and then 3 meter, until, you know, they master it bit by bit. But no one can start at a platform of 10 meters straight away. So for our subconscious mind, my subconscious mind at that moment straight away protect me by saying, don't be stupid, don't get on that platform, jump in. Because you've never done that.
That's your paradigm. Protecting you, saying, I'm here to protect you. When really,
exactly,
it's here to keep
I
us.
am clever enough. My mind is clever enough to say, stay safe, don't do that. But if you want to do that, you got to follow people who have done that, and they teach you how to do it bit by bit, and maybe one day you will get it. Yeah. So if I can say something about using our tool here for what we want, maybe that's what. When I'm watching that, I was thinking, wow, this would be, you know, like how the subconscious mind work for me. I might share that with Karen.
Yeah, that's so true. And here's the thing, Anna: if you went, I can't, and you didn't want to, you wanted to do it, right? But you went, I can't do it. You wouldn't be able to. But if you went, I want to do it, you, as you say, you believe that there was a way to do it, whether you believed it was bit by bit, or whether you believe that I could walk up the top of that length of platform, height of platform, and just jump in. Whatever you believe, whatever you think up, there's not one thing that mind of yours can think up that it doesn't know how to achieve.
Oh yeah, I might believe that I can jump off from 5 meter high, because I did that on the trip in Canada earlier this year. My daughter said, go on a cliff and jump down Mummy. It's really fun. I never done that before in my whole life. And when I stood up on there, I was so scared.
Yeah.
I was so scared. And she said, this big dip, I can do it. You can do it, Mum. And she's only 9. And I say, oh, I take all my might. And somehow I jump. And I say, it's safe, because if I fall into a big pile of snow. And I did it. And then once I did the first one, the second time it's easier. And there you go. I could just do it without any practice beforehand. It could be like 5 meters or more, 5, 6, or 7. I can't really measure, but it's like multiple time of my height.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. You can believe whatever, and have the courage to take the leap.
It's just proof that our subconscious mind can rule us, and it can tell us things that are not true because of some beliefs, and stop us from doing what we want, stop us from moving forward, stop us from achieving bigger things. So Linda's here. Hey, Linda, thanks for saying the sound barrier. Yeah, okay, the sound barrier too. Great to have you here, Linda. Thank you for joining us. So before we go, in addition to what I've already explained, I want to recap very quickly that we want to be in love with that. We want to have a vision with a burning love affair, that we have a burning love affair with something we want to achieve, right? You wouldn't have been able to jump off that. Even though you were afraid, Anna, you wouldn't have been able to do that jump unless you really, really wanted to overcome your fear and do it, right?
Yeah, true.
Then you have to understand everything is created twice. And the last thing I want to remind you is when you experience fear, know that it simply means that you're on the green growing edge of something more, moving forward, something better in an area of your life that you want to, grow in. So fear doesn't mean that we shouldn't do it, but our paradigms often make us think that it's bad for us to do it if we feel fear. And so I want to just remind you, with regard to having that vision of the quote, because you've got your American friend coming, you might want to tell him, Anna, that your American mentor, that you know about Henry David Thoreau's famous quote from the Walden Essay, because he may well know about it too. It's very well known in America, that Henry David Thoreau wrote with his Walden Essay a code for success in life. And it goes like this. If one advances confidently in the direction of their dream, endeavoring to live the life they are imagining, one passes an invisible boundary and meets with a success unexpected in common hours. All sorts of things begin to occur that never otherwise would have occurred. New, more universal liberal laws begin to establish themselves around that person, or the old laws are rearranged in one's favor. Nevertheless, one begins to live with a license of a higher order of being. And this is such a powerful quote, and what it basically means is that when one starts to live their life always imagining that they're living the life as that person in that vision of what they would love in their life, by passing an invisible boundary, it means we get rid of the boundaries that are stopping us, right? The fear, and we overcome that, and we meet with a success unexpected in the status quo living. In common hours, he means status quo living, beliefs that stop us, beliefs that we think it's how it is, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. All sorts of things begin to occur that never otherwise would have occurred, and new, more universal liberal laws begin to establish themselves around a person, or the old laws are rearranged. So he's talking about how the universal laws that apply to us will be in our favor. And then we begin to live with a license of a higher order of being. It means we start to achieve that happiness and joy and that fulfillment and that success that we want to have in our lives. And many of us don't reach that point, that energy, that frequency that is talked about of, 500 plus, the energy frequency of happiness, joy, fulfillment, achievement, all of those things that when we feel like that, we are operating at that frequency. So on that note, Anna, have you got a closing thought or anything you'd like to add before we say goodbye?
I just love the universal law that's working in favor of whatever you are strongly desire. And if the listener, if the universal law doesn't work for you, maybe it's busy fulfilling my dream.
No, that's a scarcity mentality, Anna. There's enough for all of us.
It's a joke. I'm sure there's enough for everyone, but thank you.
Yeah. Good thought. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for allowing me to add that comment that there's enough for everyone. Never ever think with abundance or anything that if I have a whole lot of something, there isn't going to be enough for you. Absolutely the other way around.
It works for anyone who's believing it, working hard, it's giving you what you need to do it. But
it doesn't matter if you believe in the universal laws or not. They are working on us, whether we know it or not. Just like
but some people don't believe it. People choose not to believe in it.
It doesn't matter. They're still working on us. So those people will still reap the results of their connection with the universe by their subconscious mind and thinking.
Yeah.
Really
you and I speak the same language. I'm sure that we can keep going. If we, I would love to catch up with you one day in person very soon. However, for now, I am going to have another podcast recording soon. So I might have to say goodbye very soon to you and to our audience. And I'll see you in a month's time. Are we changing our schedule?
Yes.
And I did inform on our audience. So we can inform our audience about that, right? Yeah.
Okay, so we will. Yeah, I'll put up the next one and say that it's in a month. So I'm going to close the live stream now.
Yeah. So nice.